Oh, shit, he got the Drake over there making it go clack, 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 clack. Where my mom at? I'm gonna get some money so I can... You go clack, 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 clack.
Hey, man, you don't mess with that Draco. You don't know nothing about that. You ain't about that life. You leave that Draco alone. He's supposed to be a banker or a lawyer or a doctor. You ain't no gangster. You ain't got no gangster shit in you, boy.
Hey, man, he trying to tell him he can't use the Draco. Man, why don't you leave him alone, cuz? Yeah, cuz, why don't you leave me alone, man? You don't know nothing about me. You don't know where I come from.
Hello, my children. When you're looking for someone to bust demons, haints, Bigfoot, dogmen, and everything in between, there's only 2 men to call.
Well, I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision. Let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good.
If we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. But in your actions, you now and will reveal that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. You serpents, you brood of vipers. How will you escape being condemned to hell?
In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord on high. His train filled the temple, yonder throne up in the sky. Seraphims crying, holy, holy. Oh, how high and lifted he. Dirty lips cleansed by cold from heaven. Now my sight is free.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to The Late Show. I'm your host, the preacher from the Black Lagoon, D-Doss. As always, I'm joined by my brother-in-arms, best friend, the good doctor, David Rhodes, the Red Pill Preacher. We got a bunch for y'all tonight, folks. We got a bunch of stuff to tread through. Tonight's show is called The Black Awakening, which I believe it's a part of, on a spiritual level. The Reiner Sacrifice, MIT Professor Hushed, and Witchcraft Unleashed. What's up, brother?
Whoa, it's quite a lot to unpack here tonight, brother. It's a lot going on in this heliocentric model of this globe that's spinning around in it. It's
very
been a
much
while
so.
since we've been on, so it's good to be back in the saddle.
Yes, absolutely it is. Great to be back with you folks and presenting y'all with the truth of this world. So we're going to jump right into it. This is a video. Everybody knows that Rob Reiner, director, actor, and producer, was murdered in a grisly fashion. His son is the #1 suspect in that murder. But we see tragic things like this and we become jaded. And I hate to say it, but I'm no different. You almost expect things like this out of the denizens of Hollywood. But when I saw this portion of a roast of Rob Reiner, it brought me back down to the ministry and what I'm supposed to be doing. And once you see this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I believe that Rob Reiner passed on either a generational curse or generational trauma to his son. Now, there's a multitude of clips, and I'm putting something together for it that I'm actually going to release on the channel. And I know I haven't released an actual video or an edit in a while, but this deserves it. But I'm going to show you this video, and then we're going to discuss it because it's worth discussing. This is, as I said, a portion of a roast that took place in, I believe, 2011 of Rob Reiner. And the channel it's coming from is called Hacked Headlines. It's a pretty good channel from what I've seen so far. They're putting forth the truth unfiltered. But it's very, very disturbing stuff, so viewer discretion is absolutely advised. There we go, and boom.
Their 32-year-old son has been arrested on suspicion of his parents. But for people who know what actually goes on behind the scenes in Hollywood, it's not very surprising at all. An old clip resurfaced recently that is extremely disturbing and might shed some light on why Nick allegedly did what he did.
Extremely disturbing.
I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I just
Have you
want to
seen
share
this
what
yet,
was
bro?
said during this roast of Rob Reiner, and
Watching
people can
Rob
come to their
Reiner.
own conclusions.
All right,
It
listen.
starts with the host joking about Rob nurturing
And the
very
dude
young
that's
children,
roasting him is
and
Al
it only gets
Franken.
worse from there.
And I know
I
you
have
don't.
to tell you that Rob has devoted himself to seeing the kids from birth to age 3 get the kind of nurturing, intellectual stimulation, love, really, that will make them.
And I'm going to be frequently stopping it, of course, to add commentary. But we'd like to remind you folks that during these Illuminati sacrifices and the abuse of these children, 0 to age 3 is what they look for. That's the most pure sacrifice they can have. That's when they start the real trauma and start splitting and fracturing their persona, their mind.
Grow up to be.
Now, I'm not saying that's what's taking place. You can look at it one of two ways. That this man is trying to prevent what I believe happened to him growing up. And it's 2000, not 2011. He's either trying to prevent what happened to him growing up, or he's a part of the same thing. It's two trains of thought.
A fully functional.
Nurturing very young children, and it only gets worse from there.
I have to tell you that Rob has devoted himself to seeing the kids from birth to age 3 get the kind of nurturing, intellectual stimulation, love, really, that will make them grow up to be a fully functional, happy person, unlike, say, Brett.
At first, this sounds like an innocent joke, but then the host goes on to explain the reason why Rob nurtures children the way he does is because of the beatings he suffered at the hands of his father.
And it's a great thing. Most people don't know where this comes from. And Rob doesn't like to talk about it because he's kind of a modest guy. But it comes out of his own personal.
Bro, let me tell you something. If I was getting the brakes beat off me as a kid, and say there was a roast of DDoS with Joe Baggy and all the regulars there, and somebody brought up in some sort of a joking manner that, oh, well, D used to get the brakes beat off his ass when he was a kid. We'd be having words afterwards, if not right there on the spot. That ain't nothing cute and clever to talk about.
Experience. See, as a baby, Rob was routinely beaten by his father, Carl. Rob believes that this early physical abuse had a profound effect on him as an adult and led to the horrible failure of Ghosts of Mississippi.
I'm going to go for North on that one. Just curious.
Exactly. What possibly could explain North.
I helped them out.
It's at this point the dialogue becomes extremely weird, but
yeah,
they're telling.
They're taking jabs at his body of work, but I mean it's just weird. Like who? Why would you make fun of being abused? That even if say he wasn't, say he was just trying to be cute. That's nothing to jest about.
Jokes about how Rob's dad would routinely abuse him in other ways, and the crowd.
It gets worse.
Crowd laughs like this is a normal thing to joke about.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if these are jokes at all.
On a typical night, Carl would slip into Rob's bed,
Jesus.
roll him over, swab him down, and say something like, I'm thinking about hiring Maury Amsterdam to play Buddy Sorrell. What do you think?
Buddy Sorrell, for all who don't know, and Maury Amsterdam was a character in the show Dick Van Dyke. His father played the producer, whose name I forget, but his name is Carl Reiner. He was the bald-headed dude on the Dick Van Dyke show. But this is some sick stuff, folks. And you hear all these people just giggling like it's something normal.
Then the host elaborates on how Rob's dad would actually invite all of his Hollywood friends to join in on it.
Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son.
You see what I'm saying? What I was telling you about this? You hear what this son of a gun said, bro? How crazy is that?
This is nothing more than a humiliation ritual.
There you go. It's an absolute humiliation ritual.
And by the look
he's
on
sitting there
Rob
just taking
Reiner's face, well, by the look on his face, everything that Al Franken, who's a piece of shit anyway, everything he's saying is gospel facts. But look at that man's face and tell me that he's not thinking back to exactly what he's talking. And this is the first time I've seen it. This is the first time I've seen this clip. This is telling. This explains a lot right here, bro.
You see what I was saying earlier today? And there's a reason I didn't send it to you. Just like sometimes you'll send me something, I want your true reaction to it. And you thought the exact same thing I did, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just, some body fun or some risque humor they're doing. And I want to give people go ahead, brother. My bad.
No, this is definitely not. Everybody here, you've seen us roast people. You especially seen me do it. And I wouldn't.
You're the roast master general.
Yeah, this is not appropriate. You don't hit people like this. It's not even funny. That's the thing. It's not funny.
Right.
It's taken a very serious issue, which a lot of people across this country, across this world, have went through.
Yes.
Whether it be, it's all satanic in nature. So let me cut to the chase. It's all satanic in nature. Every form of abuse is. But to take this right here, and then for a man who's got a stellar, Hollywood would consider a story, history, family lineage, and career, and then talk about his father, who's one of the founding members of Hollywood, pretty much, Carl Reiner, raping him in his bed. This is beyond the pale. And you wonder why. Well, we'll get to the son later, but it's definitely a humiliation ritual. And I would say, bro, to be honest with you, a lot of times they do this to these people when their contract's getting ready to expire. Yep. It's time to pay. It's time to pay the piper. You know what I mean? Or they're working some kind of spell or some.
Or they've fallen out of favor, just like Will Smith. Will Smith fell out of favor. You're gonna go over here. You're gonna slap Chris Rock. You're gonna act like a straight up nigga in front of everybody from the streets of Philadelphia. Even though you're this sophisticated cat, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna make a fool of yourself, and you're gonna take it. Because you've done X, Y, and Z to displease us. Straight up.
And get up there. Speaking of that, he gets up there to defend a woman who ain't nothing but a bust down. That's what she's always been. It was Tupac's bust down, and she was getting the business on her by her son's friends.
Yeah, and bro went on
bragged about it
and interviewed him and talked to him about it.
Yeah,
that was another humiliation ritual. These people are sick with a capital S.
Yep.
But I want to show you something after this, and it's Richard. Let's keep trucking through this real fast.
Then the host elaborates on how Rob's dad would actually invite all of his Hollywood friends to join in on it.
Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son.
That's crazy.
Look at that man's face.
Yeah, and he's just giggling. He got his legs crossed like it's no big deal.
List includes some of the greats in comedy. Paul Lynde. Dom DeLuise.
Crazy thing is, bro, he's name dropping like for real.
They're probably people do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Rip Taylor, Danny Kaye, Charles Nelson Riley, and Rock Hudson, whom I frankly don't think was that funny. Rob, I love you like a brother.
Wait a minute. Don't love me like a brother.
No, and all kidding aside, it's been a great evening, and thank you for doing so much to make sure that no other kid ends up like you.
How crazy is that, bro? Because the dude actually does run like this program for underprivileged youth, and that's the kind of jokes he's up there laughing at. They're making light of children getting abused. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, look at Rob Reiner's circle. Okay. You know who him and his wife? Let's go with his wife first. That she was a photographer. Did you know that she's the photographer that took the book cover photo for Trump's Art of the Deal?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Crazy.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yes, sir. But
And
it's
if they
crazy,
were
bro, but
besties-
not surprising.
Yeah. They were besties. Rob Reiner and his wife were real chummy and real tight with Barack and his husband, Big Mike. Matter of fact, they were supposed to meet Barack and Big Mike that night that they were killed, according to Big Mike's testimony, his own testimony.
And bro, this is one of those things like, and you know, I'm the first one to bird dog a conspiracy theory, but I really do think that was happenstance this time. You know what I'm saying?
It may be, but it doesn't change the fact that that's the circle they ran in with a bunch of damn weirdos. They're all
absolutely, bro.
Yeah, they're all
the Obama's chef died in 3 feet of water. Who people said was a strong swimmer. No brain aneurysm, no stroke, no heart attack. He was in his, I think, mid-40s. There's no reason he should have died in a koi fish pond. But he did.
Yeah. Riddle me that. You got more bodies in a cemetery on, just like the Clintons.
Just like the Clintons. So,
all of them.
Yep. When my brother mentioned, folks, humiliation rituals, I want to show you a short example to illustrate that fact. Now, if anybody knows old Dion, your Uncle D, the preacher from the Black Lagoon, you know I'm a fan of old school comedy. Red Fox, George Carlin. It's a laundry list of comedians that I like. I've been listening to Jerry Clower here lately. Very, very funny man. But Richard Pryor is the godfather of what they call, one of them, him and Red Fox, of what you call blue comedy or adult comedy. They called it blue comedy back then. You couldn't find Red Fox's. Yeah, off color. Blue comedy, off color. Back in the day, you couldn't find their albums. You'd have to ask the guy, and he'd bring them from underneath. He wouldn't display them out front. But this is a roast of Richard Pryor. And when we talk about humiliation rituals, it came out recently through another high-level Illuminati member as far as black music goes. He wrote the theme songs to the Jeffersons and Sanford and Son. What's that old boy's name? His daughter dated Tupac Shakur.
I'm not sure.
He was the father of old school Motown. Cassidy knows. Cassidy, tell me that dude's name.
Dr.
Anyway.
She turned off my BET, so I don't know those answers to those trivia questions anymore.
You'd know exactly what I'm talking about if I called it. Bro, he found Will Smith, and allegedly him and Will Smith had some sort of uncouth relationship. God,
is that right?
Yeah. But anyways, he came out and said he revealed that Richard Pryor was bisexual, and he revealed he had a relationship with he outed him as bisexual. He didn't say he had a relationship with him. He said that Richard Pryor had a relationship with Marlon Brando. Not Barry Gordy, Kathy. That's a great guess. It's not Barry Gordy. This dude was a black dude. Why can't I remember his name? You know what? I'm going to be a good host, and I'm going to look it up because it's going to bother. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones. Yep. Quincy Jones must have got high on that powder or something, bro, because he did an interview, and he just started telling his weirdo business and everybody else's. So I'll say that to say this. He was talking about how Richard Pryor was this bisexual, and when you go back and listen to his comedy, Richard Pryor talked about being in a relationship with a transvestite back in the 70s, and Paul Mooney allegedly did something with Richard Pryor's 16-year-old son, and they tried to interview him. Richard Pryor Jr., I believe his name is. He won't say anything about it. He's approached about it. He mums the word. It's obvious something happened, though. You can see it in his face. But once you listen to this, you'll understand what my brother's talking about when he says humiliation ritual. They're just telling their weirdo business out in public and laughing about it like it's something cute or clever. But they're really just putting their stuff out there.
Yeah,
because it's not normal. You know what I'm saying?
I am thrilled. It's not often that amateur people get a chance.
And he's hiring a Georgia Pond right now.
Yeah.
And this roast is pretty funny. I mean, it had, you got a young Robin Williams, like a 20-something-year-old Robin Williams was there. That's Paul Mooney, who wrote for to his left, that wrote for the Chappelle show.
Thrilled. It's not often that amateur people get a chance to be on television, even 30 or 40 seconds, as they were. And the comments were brilliant. Spoon on the end, a man who nobody gives a shit about. Was cleaning out toilets, and we found him, he was making a sandwich.
All right, let's hold on, because he goes through everybody.
We said, Spoon, please, drop the doo-doo.
All right, let's see. It's when he goes to Paul Mooney.
We call him that with love and affection. Next to her is what we call Miss Thing.
There we go.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, look at the body language. Paul Mooney, I mean, I don't think he ever came out as gay, but I mean, he obviously is. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what he says, bro. It's wild.
We call him that with love and affection. As all of us know.
As all of us know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he hasn't let us down yet, has he?
Listen at him. He's just jabbing him, bro.
We've been friends a long time, and I sure wish you'd return my red handkerchief. My wife been wondering where it was. That still has her perfume scent on it.
Bro, you know how crazy that is? Just that comment right there.
Yeah.
And he ain't bullshitting. That's the thing about it. Carl Charleston, embrace the debate. I'm going to end your debate right now. I just noticed that out of the corner of my eye. I want to put it up where everybody can see it. When you say Patrice, you mean Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal is one of my favorite comedians as well. Patrice O'Neal can't hold a candle to Richard Pryor. With all Richard Pryor's faults and his wickedness and his madness, Patrice O'Neal ain't Richard Pryor. Period. But this ain't just like the Dom DeLuise thing. They start dipping your toes in the water at first, then they just hit you over the head with the truth.
But really, Paul, it's really been a pleasure working with you because we worked together many years ago on the Red Fox show. We started writing together, and we walked into the office with the white man, and Paul didn't. What he did was sucked his dick.
Bro, you know how crazy that is? Look at him laughing.
But I must say, Paul had a sense of humor. He didn't let him come in his mouth.
There's a point right here.
But seriously,
because I'm a big fan of body language. Like, I took a course in college actually about body language and handwriting. And there's a point in time right here, you'll see, Richard Pryor is going to keep, like, dialing it up, telling this man's business and all this wicked stuff he's been doing, and he's going to look down at him, and they're going to lock eyes, and Paul Mooney's going to put his head down. And you're going to know when you see it, everything he was saying was the gospel truth.
Paul wrote most of the dialogue for everybody up here tonight, and he's a brilliant writer. And we went once to what was that man's name that we went to and we had to fight? The producer. Shelton Leonard. Shelton Leonard. We walked in his office. We was there for an hour together, and Shelton Leonard picked our brains and he said, thank you, and you can leave now. And I asked for the money. and Paul said, don't do that. Don't get us in no trouble now. I threatened to kick his ass, and Paul tried to join him.
See that?
But we're dear friends, and this is all in fun.
They say, oh, well, we're different and it's all in fun. Bro, these people are of their father, the devil.
Yeah, they are.
As soon Richard Pryor was telling he was coked out of his mind and telling the absolute truth, because as soon as he looks at him,
you can leave now. And I asked
as soon as he looks at him, he turns and looks away.
And Paul said, don't do that. Don't get us in no trouble now.
Look it.
I threatened to kick his ass, and Paul tried to join him.
Boom.
But we're different.
You know how crazy that is to me, bro? Like, so that's another reason Richard Pryor was a savage. He was doing all this craziness, folks. And you gotta respect that in a way. The man came out on a comedy album. I think it was That N-Word's Crazy. Well, we're adults. That nigga's crazy. It was the album where he was talking about being in a relationship with a transsexual. And he's going on. Thank you very much, Carl Charleston. We got a new subscriber. Welcome home.
Amen.
But, folks, it's madness. These people, and don't think they're just doing it just because somebody falls out of favor and they say, hey, this is the good old boys club. You have to do this if you want to be in our favor. There's a spiritual element to it.
Yes.
God gives us our free will. That's why Jesus died on the cross for us. You have to understand. We have to, for God to love the world, he sent his only begotten son. But you have to accept that. You have to accept him for the sacrifice, the replacement, the Lamb of God that he is, that took your place on the cross, that went through your hell. These people know exactly what they're doing, and they're religious to their core, folks. This is a part of their religion. They go out before the Gentile and Jew, both. They go out before the Christian, the Satanist, and when they fall out of favor, like my brother was talking about Will Smith and all that, they got to lay themselves bare. They got to either tell their business or make a public spectacle of themselves. Think about Will Smith. He's out there rapping about painting with his son and riding bikes and the Wild Wild West. And all of a sudden he's yelling, putting hands on people, saying, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth on CBS and NBC. Completely out of character. Let me tell you, Will Smith is somebody who can control himself. But let me remind you also, what was his first movie? 6 Degrees of Separation, where he played a real-life person that would go and into these rich neighborhoods in Manhattan and convince the parents of these kids that were about his age that he was Sidney Poitier's son. This man was a homosexual. He would a lot of times sleep with the son or one of the son's friends. That was his first movie.
Well, that was his first Hollywood movie. He's probably got all kinds of film footage, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, there's some producers with some home footage on their shelf. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, that's what they do. See, when they get you up, when these Hollywood elites get you an upcoming star or starlet, they get you up there and they send you to the stylist, and they get you groomed up good, and the stylist say, all right, he or she is ready. Then you get the mansion party invite, and then you go up there to the mansion. We know this for a fact. My brother-in-law was a cop in LAPD. You've had him on the show twice.
The brother-in-law, Joe Black, a mentor and one of our good friends, Zachary King, who helped set up some of these rituals.
That's right. So this is old hat. You see, that damn footage is damn near black and white. That's back in the 70s or 80s when that stuff's taken. Yep. And here it is now getting ready to be 2026. And the game ain't changed. It's truly Ecclesiastes 1. There's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun.
Truth be told, these type of rituals have been going back forever. Look at all these ancient kingdoms. The court jester, or the clown, if you will, was always a member of the priest class. And what did they do? They came in there and they clowned the shit out of the royal family, the king himself, in front of God and creation.
And you're right, in front of his actual courtier, his actual court, his advisors, and all these people of political importance. The jester could go in there, say, Red Pill Preacher's the jester, D-Doss is the king. Hey, well, D-Doss, you need to leave those big-legged heifers alone. Everybody knows you sitting there next to your wife, but you like them fat-legged white girls, and everybody knows it. Anybody else says that the King D-Doss, they go into the gallows.
That's right.
But guess what? The Red Pill Preacher, as the jester, can say that within the bounds of the court. A lot of times, the jester was was an advisor of sorts, because he was the only one in that court who could speak to the king plainly. He'd have to wrap it in some sort of comedy, but he could speak to him plainly. Just like they're rapping, and this ain't comedy. Like you said earlier with the I keep calling him Dom DeLuise. With Rob Reiner, that wasn't comedy, bro. There was nothing about that was funny. The precipice of it was him having this organization that took care of kids that were 0 to 3 years old. That's how he started off all that wickedness. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that got me. When I saw that, I was aghast, bro. It was like, oh my God, like what are you doing? And you're right, Al Franken's a scumbag.
Oh yeah, Al Franken's definitely a scumbag. But we saw the same thing with the Lady Gaga ritual. Remember that? The Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary?
Yep.
Same identical thing. So this hasn't changed, you know. That's my point. And you can see it in the son's eyes, the one that got arrested for suspicion of offlining Mr. and Mrs. Reiner. But you can look at that boy's face. I got a picture of him in the Wall Street Journal right here. And he's got a similar look, like demons are flashing in his eyeballs, like Erica Kirk does. Yeah, I said it. That's exactly what I said. He's possessed, and so is she.
Well, bro, I respectfully disagree. He may be possessed, but I think that boy has that look in his eyes that here we go. This is a good one. That severe, like PTSD. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember seeing the black and white photos of those cats that came back from World War I in trench warfare. They have the eyes like that. Before they were young, handsome men, they come back and their eyes are all, and they're staring. They got what they call the 1,000-yard stare. Now this dude probably is demon possessed, but when I look at him, bro, I feel bad for him. This kid probably went through hell in some sort.
Just like every other abuse victim, I feel bad for. But that trauma does attach demonic spirits to your psyche. That's exactly what it does. Because that's the doorway in.
Let me ask you this, bro, and this is an important question. This is what I'm trying to reconcile. Do you think that this kid, and it's just what you're saying, do you think that this boy was abused? Or do you think it's some sort of a generational trauma that was passed on through his father? Because like what Al Franken said, that was real. And he was and it's that generational curse of abuse.
You want my honest opinion? Of course, I know you do.
Yeah. I watched interviews with him and the son, and he seemed like he loved it. I could see a genuineness when he was talking to him.
That oftentimes happens. It's passed down from father to son or grandfather to grandson. It happens, trust me. I've seen it firsthand in living color. And look at that picture. You know, he
just dead in the eyes, bro. Just like there's sorrow is, I guess, the word. He's got sorrowful eyes.
I'll put it to you like this. He was addicted to drugs at 15 years old. In and out of rehab. That boy right there, that grown man. At 50, what? I mean, I know you're in Hollywood and whatnot, and you probably dibble-dabble around, but inside of rehabs, and then the parents left him be homeless for a period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more to it than what is being said. I will say that. So whether it's passed down through generational curse or whether his daddy was doing the same thing to him that his daddy did to him, I think that's the most likely scenario.
Yeah, and I mean, man, you know me, I try to be an optimist, bro, and I'll say that maybe this man, like, was trying to break that curse, but why in the 9 circles of hell would you sit and let Al Franken say all that wicked stuff and just sit with your legs crossed and giggle?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. Nope.
I wouldn't sit there and let him do it. I mean, I got up here and canceled his ass like a stamp. Folded him up like origami.
Yeah, no kidding, bro.
Saying some stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, he would have got the. I would have showed Will Smith how to do it. I would have beat the brakes off of him right then and there. I'm like, what you say about my dad?
Right there, that's exactly right.
I'm not gonna say it
exactly right
because I'm not gonna say it. I just felt like Corn Plum 80. Why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe to this channel? I just want to highlight a new subscriber's comment. That's all. Just you know.
Yep.
Just yeah.
Yep, there it is.
But I mean,
That's exactly what it is.
and just like the juice box, it's all ritualistic. They're not, folks. You've heard me say it 1,000 times before, and I'm willing to say it 1,000 more. These people are not doing this because of its ritualistic nature. They're not doing it because it's a part of some sort of a cult that they're involved in. There's some tangible demonic force that's behind all of this.
Yes.
They're serving these false gods through these rituals. They're all in the Kabbalah, just like you said. Again, we got 2 good subscribers now. Welcome home. You're absolutely right. It comes all the way from Babylon through the Jews that did not adhere to God Jehovah, the God of the Bible, and they've brought it now into your homes, into your children, and their tablets and all the shows. They've interwoven this stuff into every facet of everything that we have to that we call entertainment. Everything. And I know there's a lot of new subscribers. I'll tell you right now, I learned to read on comic books. I'm an old school comic book fan. You know, I remember writing in my journal in 3rd grade who I thought should play what character, way before Marvel movies were even thought of to be a possibility. I'm telling you, you can watch any Marvel movie, any Disney cartoon, any Disney property nowadays. It's all esoteric Gnosticism and mysticism, and always has been, if we're being real. But they're interweaving their belief system into every facet of entertainment. Everything you watch. Everything we take in. Because the gates, we talked about the different gates. The gates of our eyes, the gates of our mind, the gates of our ears. We have great defenses. We have a great defense called the Holy Spirit that funnels out and filters out all that madness. But we have that pesky rascal called free will. I've talked to many Christians, one not too long ago, that fancy themselves a horror movie aficionado and was naming some of the most wicked shit that you could imagine. Demonic stuff, folks. I'm not talking about just like some casual Friday the 13th part 2 demonic stuff. They fancy themselves some sort of horror movie aficionado with this sinister and all this other kind of madness. And I asked them, well, how do you reconcile that being a Christian? Because these things have demons literally attached to them. There's been reports of certain movies that people watch, unbeknownst to themselves, opening portals into their home. All of a sudden, their cabinets are opening and closing. They're having supernatural experiences. Folks, if your axis isn't set by one spirit or another, you can choose to worship Vishnu and Krishna and Buddha. You can choose to worship the God of the Bible. Your axis is going to be set by one or the other in the spirit world that we cannot see. These avatars, these flesh robots, these suits that we wear contain who we are. We are spirit. We will go on forever somewhere. We will go on and have our final reward when we leave this body. There is something on the other side of the veil that's weaving our future. And we have a play in it. We have a say-so through our actions and through our free will. You don't have to say, I don't believe in God. Your actions will show that. You don't have to say you believe in God. Your actions will show that. Choose ye now who you will serve.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You see this, we see it in the news and these other religions all the time. Like this Brown shooter, which they still don't have. But you got 30 witnesses saying the guy came in there screaming Aloha snack bar. You know what I mean?
Which is just to me, that's too easy.
Oh, yeah, that's the easy A.
That's the easy A. That's the easy A.
But the news will not cover it because it don't fit the narrative. We can't have, some camel jockey over here shooting up the place and put that out in mainstream news as he's the suspect, because then it's, Islamophobia. See, let me tell you something. I'm going to get me go off. is Islamophobia. I ain't got no Islamophobia because phobia means I'm afraid of something. I ain't afraid of no phobia. I ain't got no phobia to be afraid of. For real. I got a godophobia. I'm afraid of the God of the Bible, and that's it. That's it. It's the only thing I'm afraid of.
The God we serve does not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. Power comes before love and a sound mind, and what we believe, folks. And that power comes from God himself. The same power that spoke us into existence, the same power that split the Red Sea, the same power that brought Jesus from the dead. That's the power that lives beneath your skin. You have no reason to be afraid of anything we're talking about or anything you see. You know who's afraid? These juice boxes who are worshiping Moloch and sending their kid through the flame and the fire. And yours too if you're not careful.
Yeah, and you know that these powers that be, bro, they got no qualms about clipping you. They just clipped that MIT professor. They clipped that MIT professor up there because he was getting ready to spill the beans.
Yep. And I brought this man's information up. That's the second portion of it, because this is a show tonight, brother.
Yes, sir.
So let's look into a little bit of this man. I'll give you folks my theory on him. This gentleman's name, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'll read it to you. Nuno Felipe Gomes Loureiro. Born in 1977, wasn't that old at all. Was a Portuguese plasma physicist. He was the Herman Feshbach Professor of Physics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, and the director of the MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center from 2024 until his death in 2025. Not that long of a tenure. I wonder what he found. So his career, excuse me, and folks, say a prayer for your boy. Say a prayer for old Uncle D. He's been a little under the weather. And you know I believe in that power of prayer. If you ain't praying, you're playing. After graduating, Loureiro joined Princeton University as a postdoctoral researcher at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory in 2005. He left in 2007 to work at the Colham Center of Fusion Energy, a laboratory under the UK Atomic Energy Authority, until 2009. He returned to Portugal as a researcher at the Instituto de la Plasmas e Fusão Nuclear at the IST Lisbon for 7 years. In 2016, Loureiro joined MIT as a professor and fusion scientist. Now watch this. He studied magnetic reconnection and plasma turbulence using computational simulations and published widely in scientific journals. He became a full professor of physics in 2021 with a joint appointment in the Department of Nuclear Science and Engineering. So, folks, if you read anything besides his Wikipedia page, you'll see that the good professor dived deeply into magnetics. Now, you've heard me say before, and you'll see 3 specials on this channel about the CERN Large Hadron Collider. I'll put it plainly, the CERN Large Hadron Collider is it borders Switzerland and France. It's a facility where they spin particles around on this 22-mile circular track using magnets to pull these subatomic particles, clash them together at it was right below, then right at, now it's a little bit over the speed of light. And what they're trying to do, according to what they're putting out there to the public, is recreate the Big Bang to see what particles were formed when the universe was first formed. Now, you and I both know that it was a forever being who had no ending, that had no beginning, that said, "Bara, come into being, that which was not now is." He said, "Let there be." The vibrational frequency from that God's voice, that God with a capital G, brought everything we know as reality, everything we experience as reality into being. But they believe in the Big Bang. What they're actually doing, and what a lot of the directors and a lot of the physicists who work there say, is they're opening portals to different dimensions. A byproduct of this experimentation is dark matter, antimatter. Antimatter, you can have a grain of antimatter, and it has the destructive capabilities of 30 atomic bombs that were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II. One small grain of rice has 30 times the destructive power. One grain of rice of this antimatter. They're collecting this antimatter. They're storing this antimatter not only in Geneva, Switzerland, but at different universities around the world. I won't get into that too far. But when I saw what this man was researching, when I saw his background, what he was a professor of, call me a conspiracy theorist. I wear it as a badge of honor. I'm an abstract thinker. Nobody's just going to break into an MIT professor's house and murder him for dry ass no reason at all. Let's say that he had a crazy ex-wife. I have a crazy ex-wife, crazy ex-girlfriends. I've always rolled over in my bed and went to sleep peaceful. They may run the flipper lip, but they're not going to come through my window and blow my brains out. This man was on to something, folks, and I believed he discovered exactly what was going on over there. And this is just old Uncle D talking. I believe he discovered exactly what was going on over there in Geneva, Switzerland, at the CERN Large Hadron Collider at the LHC facility. And maybe he said, you know what? I think that there should be a more lucid explanation given to the people. I think I should maybe teach a class on what's really taking place. Now, folks, do you think that the powers that be that are opening these portals to these old gods, you think they're going to let that happen? No, they're not going to let that happen. They want you dumb, in the dark, watching your Netflix shows and working on your hamster wheel. They don't want you questioning them. They're the paymasters.
You got to be a good little slave. You don't get on the tread, get on the hamster wheel. Yeah, I think like you, D. He was getting ready to come forward with something. If it wasn't CERN, there's something else getting ready to happen in 2 days. 3-Eye Atlas too, right?
Yep.
19th of December, we're going to know something. And that circle of people, these elites and these academics, know full well what's going on. So he was going to come forward with something, and they clipped him for it. There's no other explanation.
No, there's no, unless somebody shows me conclusive evidence. Now, this is just a theory of old Uncle D, and I'm glad that you agree. But unless somebody comes forth with some tangible, I'm not saying like some hearsay. I don't want to see some dude nobody's ever heard of before that you can't find a history attached to this professor saying, oh, well, he was a gambler and he owed the mob. I'm not going to buy that. You're going to have to show me something tangible. I'm going to have to see receipts.
You know, all these murders, bro, kind of put, when we started talking about this the other day, something came to my mind, and I believe I mentioned it to you. It really brings me back to the Tate LaBianca murders of the Manson family. It get that feel to it.
It does, bro. Like it almost like the same frantic nature of it all. Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, Rob Reiner. The first time I remember, I told you like the way I found out about it is that sensational tweet that Trump put out, and I was like, "What the hell is he talking about? They were murdered," and he's like saying this stuff. Then you find out it was the son. Then you find out it was with a knife. It's like, what?
Which is how most ritual sacrifices are done. With the athane. It's called the athane in witchcraft.
Yeah.
Nobody can convince me that all this stuff we're seeing in public that brings us to the third part of this, Witchcraft Unleashed. Bro, you realize we're going into the second most holy day in the occult. The second one. The winter solstice.
Yep.
We're getting ready to go into that. So they're really gearing up. They're amping up. Look at the satanic calendar we've got, and you'll look at Christmas and New Year's, and you'll see that they venerate that day as much as they do Halloween.
Crazy thing is, bro, they venerate Christmas and New Year's just as much as any Christian in the United States. I believe.
Of course. Well, because at its roots, Christmas is an occult holiday at its roots.
Yep.
Jesus wasn't born on December 25th.
Not with shepherds out there in the field. Yeah. But it's one of those things, man, like, and I want to do a show. I ain't got to talk to you about it, but I really want to do a show and dissect Gnosticism. Because that's what I think we're in a new age of Gnosticism. I saw a Christian, what I thought was a Christian podcaster, talking about the only true religion is Gnosticism because that's what Jesus preached. That's what this guy was saying. And with my intellectual mind, I can understand what he was saying. You know, intellectually, I can understand. But spiritually, he's far off the mark.
The term gnosis, to know, right?
Yeah,
to know.
Right.
Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 12. For men shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. That's what he said was going to happen in the last days.
Yep.
That's wild. This is what we have. We have a generation where knowledge is more accessible. This is the oxymoron behind it. Knowledge is more accessible today, and people are 10 times dumber.
10 times more ignorant.
Yeah. They're more ignorant today with knowledge at your very fingertips. More computing power in your hand that supposedly put somebody on the moon.
Yeah, supposedly is right.
Yeah, supposedly. I use that term loosely. Yeah, man, it's
wild times that we live in. Yeah, wild times that we live in. But you know what? God made men like us for a generation such as these. And I've said it before, you know, and that's almost my mantra. And that's what I keep coming back to. That's what keeps motivating me to do these shows, as you know. The Bible tells us to preach unto your own generation. I'd love to preach like I heard my pastor when I was going to Mount Zion Baptist Church in Ardmore, Oklahoma. I'd love to preach like him. He was an awesome preacher. He'd give you the cold chills. But it's not 1992. It's 2025.
Yeah, it's true, brother. We have to, we're raised up to be a standard against what's going on. You know, we get down. I get down too. I have days when I say RPP is going to hang up his fedora and hang up his spurs, and I'm just going to, you know, do my thing, lift weights and arm wrestle. That's what I'm going to do. But you know what? We have to keep fighting a good fight.
That's right. And I'm not ashamed to say, folks, this man you see sitting right here, who I love like we came out of the same womb, you wouldn't be listening to me right now if it wasn't for him, because there's been more than one occasion where I tried to give him my channel and say, you just carry it on, because I just want to work and go about my business. And he wouldn't let me do it. And I thank him for it, because it gets hard sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it's not supposed to be easy. When the Lord was in that garden sweating blood, asking his father not to take that cup away from him because he didn't want to die, I'm pretty sure he was rough. He wanted to kind of hang it up and just live and go on about his business.
He sure did. Jesus did. He didn't want to.
I'm not greater than him.
That's right. Servant is not greater than his master.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
But every time we get a new subscriber, we get comments that encourage us. It gives us the steam to move forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. As long as there's hearts that are open and ears that hear the word of truth, I'll continue to give it. That and the Lord puts him different than me, bro. I'm still for the Crusades in 2026.
Oh, I'm definitely for the Crusades 2025. You know me, I told you 6 months ago, I'm for the Crusades 2025, 2024. Yep.
On the cool, I was in for the Crusades in 2015, 2012, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all about it. I'm about that action.
Yep. And when I see all these things, you know. Oh, go ahead, brother.
You're going to tell people we're going to have the very scary Christmas.
We're going to have a very supernatural Christmas. I was thinking about that today, bro. After watching Kumbo, our good friend Tim Baker, on a documentary, a very well done documentary, I think I'm going to tell some old spooky stories. And I made this a Christmas tradition to read like a famous Christmas story, you know.
Christmas Carol, bro. Don't go wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to read the Christmas Carol, record it, and throw it up.
Yeah, I think that's good, bro.
I think it is too.
One of my favorite writings of all time. That interaction between Jacob Marley and Ebenezer Scrooge is very powerful, bro.
Yeah, it is. We actually got to watch. We watched the film version of with Kelsey Grammer that was made back in the early 2000s the other day. It was, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. It kind of choked me up at the very end, bro. But the Scrooge story chokes me up anyways. You know what I mean?
It is my favorite Christmas movie for sure.
I'd say mine's still The Grinch and Scrooge, Scrooged with Bill Murray, which is another version of it. But yeah, it's you can't beat it. Look at here.
The Grinch is good too.
It's my birthday today, y'all. I'm 54. One more year until the government declares me a senior citizen. God bless you, Joe Baggy, and I sincerely hope the Lord bless you with many, many more. Happy birthday, brother. You're a great friend, brother, and subscriber.
You're 1 year away from that senior coffee and the Golden Eagle discount.
Yep.
Yep.
I was going to be cynical and quote that old Pink Floyd song, but shorter breath, one day closer to death, but no, I love him too much. Look at here. We got my nephew in here, the World Weather Authority. Folks, it always rains, snows, heat. You got weather. You got to deal with, if you're alive, you got to deal with weather. I'll suggest you go over and check out my nephew, Zach, on the World Weather Authority for all your weather needs. He's back in action, and I'm proud of him. He's got a great channel, and he's a great young man. He makes the meteorologist position fun. You always see these boring, plank dudes out there just kind of going through the motions. He's got a personality. Carl Charleston says he knew I was Unc. Well, there you go. You're very welcome, nephew. And that's exactly right. I'm your Uncle D, Carl. Welcome on. Folks, I'm so glad to be back.
I'd like to see a hood dude do the weather, bro. That'd be funny as it be. Get somebody at the projects doing the weather report.
Yeah, right.
Man, that'd be so funny.
There's one. I'll send you. I'm gonna try to find it tonight, and I'll send it to you. There is a dude that does that. He's out of Memphis. He's out of Memphis, I believe, bro. Bro, I've been watching a lot of that Memphis juking. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm afraid I don't. I've never seen the Memphis West juking.
The Memphis juk.
No, I haven't seen that, bro.
Hold on.
Do I want to?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm kind of stuck on Rufus the Bull right now. I've been watching that.
I watch Random Madness. I don't want to get some copyright strike, but I'll show you. I'll give you an example. This is the first thing that popped up, so let's see. But it's like it's basically pop locking. But I can't describe it. You just gotta see. Hold on. Folks, drop a 1 if you've heard of Memphis juking before.
Oh, it's a dance. It's dancing.
Yeah. I know you like cut a rug. Yeah, that's exactly right. I figured you'd appreciate something like it. Hold on.
What the fuck? 10 toes using 2 fingers, bitch, on black sticks, black on black truck.
There we go. That's Memphis Juk.
What?
Look at that footwork, bro.
This dude look like a more nimble Bill Cosby.
Well, that stuff they do like back in the 90s, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's coming back. It just shows you how wild I am. That and the hoof MD. I like watching the guy over there in Ireland deal with cows' feet that step on nails and rocks. And anyways, God bless each and every last one of y'all. Y'all brought me a lot of joy. Sorry it's been so long. Yeah. We'll start doing it more often because this one was heavy duty. That last one took it out of me. I'll just let you know because we talk about some we talk about some heavy duty subjects, and it's very spiritually draining.
Yes,
but anyways,
yes.
God bless each and every last one of you. We'll see you tomorrow night on The Late Show. And we thank you for joining us. Y'all take care.
Come on. Let me lift you out of that embarrassing farce you call life and give you something glorious. Just say the word.
Heavenly Father.
Are you praying?
Chill.
Well, that's a first.
I'm in trouble and I can't do this alone.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. I love this. Are you still praying?
Know that I'm unworthy, Father. I also love the children.
Do you honestly think that he will help you after what you just did? You are tainted goods. You're not even worth his effort anymore. Even if he did help you, do you think I will ever leave you alone? Ever? There is nothing that I won't do to you. No temptation, no low that he won't sink to. I know you, Kevin, and you are nothing. Nothing. I am greater than him. I am certainly greater than you.
Am I now persuading men? Or am I seeking God? Tell me, brother, where's your standing? Are your motives flawed? If I please the crowd, I'd walk a different road. But I'm a servant of Christ, and that's a heavy load. I don't sing to please no man, ain't chasing no applause. I belong to the risen Lamb, I'm bound by a higher cause.
Hello, my children.
I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision.
We'll drive our ships to New